Alright, welcome YouTube to a video that is gonna shake the internet yet again. I just finished, and I just catched up on every Pixar movie. I had to catch up on, the ones that came out the last couple years. And what can I say, man? I am beyond excited to make this video. Uh, a lot of thought has gone into this, rearranging my thoughts of where every movie should belong and the ins and outs. But yeah, I'm ready to do this. I have personalized the tiers. Um, and yeah, Pixar, where do we begin, man? I mean, every single person, human being alive, probably born above the year 1990, maybe even 1990, 1985, has had great childhood memories, great teenage memories of the Pixar films. And everybody has their own personalized opinion, and it's practically impossible to make a tier list on Pixar, specifically Pixar, that is that's not going to shake up the internet and make people pissed. So this is my own 2 cents on the situation. I'm excited to do this. I would like to say that I have some pretty hot takes pertaining to Pixar, and I am just ready to explode the internet yet again. So uh, before we continue, keep in mind that this is in the spectacle of Pixar. You could take practically 85% of the Pixar movies and put them on a tier list of all movies ever. And the Pixar movies would practically, most of them would tier up pretty high because there's really not a bad Pixar movie. I mean, a bad movie in Pixar. But there is bad Pixar movies, if that makes sense. There is bottom tier Pixar movies. There are Pixar movies that are not nearly as good as the best Pixar movies. And so, yeah, now that I've gotten that out of the way, it's time to begin. And why not start with two of the most recent? I just watched Luca a couple days ago, so it's still saturating in my mind, but I do believe that since it is still fresh, I do have a pretty good opinion on it, even though the sentimental value of it isn't really there yet. But Luca was a pretty good movie, I want to say it was a good movie. Um, but pertaining to Pixar films, I do think there's plenty of Pixar films that are more entertaining throughout. I didn't like how Luca is a beautiful film. The animation is, arguably the best in Pixar. The setting in Italy is arguably the best in Pixar. But the characters I don't really resonate too much with. Um, and I think it starts off kind of slow, but it does have its great positives, as I just mentioned. So I think in the spectacle of Pixar, it is. I want to say it's sitting in between good and pretty average. I do need more time to let it marinate in my mind, but for now, I think it has a good. It's a great film. What can I say? But I think for right now, I'm gonna put it in pretty average. And then Soul, I loved Soul. I do feel it was very, very gloomy, obviously, but I thought Soul was, definitely one of the better Pixar films within the last 10 years. Um, the plot was just incredible. The sequencing was incredible. The places that the film takes you. I don't really remember all the places in Soul, but the dream world or like the lost souls. That concept was awesome, and how it relates to real human society. How like you don't take advantage of time, and how a lot of people are just wasting a life away. And I loved the theme in Soul. The setting was pretty cool. I liked how it involved jazz and a lot of that cool stuff. Um, Cars 2. Lol the fuck. Um, this film is pointless. It probably has, the least sentimental value of any Pixar movie to date. It's boring. Mater is practically the main character, and he's just, it feels weird making Mater a secondary character in the first film. And I know this is weird because it's kind of a Finding Nemo, Finding Dory situation, but Mater was just such a secondary character in the first film. It's like it's you're not gonna make a quality film out of the character Mater. He's just such a bland, bleak character, an annoying character, and I just it didn't work. You know, the concept didn't work. You know, Lightning McQueen was barely in the film, and you know, it wasn't. It was just a boring, slow. I don't even know what to say. People have shouted it enough. Everyone thinks this is the worst Pixar movie, basically, and you know, I'm gonna have to agree with that. So I think it belongs at the bottom tier. I think this is Cars, the first one, and again, I was just never a big Cars fan. I think the characters were boring. I was never a big Lightning McQueen fan. I know his iconic Kachow. He's iconic, obviously, but I just never liked these movies. I never resonated with the characters. I never felt sentimental value. And same thing with Cars 3. Cars 3 is probably worse than, you know, Cars isn't terrible, but of course, when pertaining to Pixar, it's probably on this tier. Next, Onward, another great recent Pixar film. I'm gonna put, I think, it was a little bit better than Luca, I want to say, personally. I liked the themes, you know, brotherhood, and I also liked how, you know, elves and like a lot of like Grimm's stuff and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm gonna put it in good. I think Onward was good. Toy Story 4 I thought was pretty average. I thought the villains were pretty good. Of course, you have the same iconic Toy Story characters. Some characters come back. Uh, you know, but um, Toy Story 4 was it's better than Luca. I think I can sit and watch Toy Story 4 more than Luca. Forky was a good character, I thought, even though I know he gets shit. And you know, I thought the concept was cool, the plot was cool, the villain was cool, like I said. But yeah, Toy Story 4 is probably gonna go pretty average. Incredibles 2, I'm gonna have to pass. I saw that in theaters, and usually when I see a movie in theaters, it is just fucking awesome, and I just love it way much more. But you know, it was just never that great to me, I guess. Incredibles 2, Incredibles 1. Since we've already gotten Incredibles 2, I think Incredibles 1 was a. I know people are gonna hate this, but I'm gonna have to put it in the top of pretty average. I'm gonna have to say Luca is probably better as of now. You know, The Incredibles I thought was cool, but it was, you know, I never really sat with the characters too well. And I know that's what people say is like the number one takeaway from the film, but you know, I never really enjoyed The Incredibles. I don't know why. I think upon rewatch, the animation is kind of dry. It's kind of, you know, not too good. Uh, Miss Incredible, you know, beautiful, but I didn't like her character. I didn't like the girl character. I didn't like the kid character. Mr. Incredible is one of my favorite cartoon characters ever. But you know, in Frozone, but I really never come back to anything. I really never took any sentimental value from Incredibles, and I don't have too much nostalgia for it. Coco was probably, damn, you know, in the Land of the Dead, the plot of this movie, uh, you know, Coco was great. I might have to put Coco in Nearly Perfect just because, you know, the design in Mexico, the setting in Mexico rather, you know, it's so like the themes and messaging are incredible in Coco, and you know, I love Coco. It's a great movie. Finding Dory, I love Finding Dory. Finding Dory is personally one of my favorite Pixar films. It might be up here nearly perfect, but I think in good, it's good for now. Finding Dory, what can I say about Finding Dory that people don't pretty well, Finding Dory doesn't get too much slander. It's pretty much well received by most Pixar fans. So with Finding Dory, you know, I like Dory as a lead character. Um, I think she stepped into that primary character role as a being a secondary character in the first film because there was a lot of things you could have done with Dory's character in Finding Nemo. And they did them well in Finding Dory, you know, but the adventure Finding Dory takes you on of being out of the water. I saw it in theaters, so the sentimental value is there, the nostalgia is there. You know, Finding Dory was just an incredible movie. I personally like it far more than Finding Nemo. I know Finding Nemo is it depends on who you are as a Pixar fan, where you put it. But Finding Nemo for me is probably in the pretty average tier, if not in pass. Finding Nemo for me is probably in pretty average. You know, I don't like the animation. I don't like uh, Nemo as a character, or Nemo's dad as a character, I think is the right way to put it. But yeah, I was never a big fan of Finding Nemo. The Good Dinosaur I think is one of the more underrated. I don't think it's better than Finding Nemo, just as a film, because Arlo is a very lacking main character. The what's that thing's name? Spike, Spot, little human, primal human person. He was also just kind of annoying. Didn't really care for him too much. But the journey a good dinosaur takes you on is something I enjoy, similar to Finding Dory. So I'm gonna put it in pretty average. I don't think it has the sentimental value of Finding Nemo, Toy Story 4, or doesn't really have the entertainment of Incredibles either. Inside Out is gonna go in good. Um, probably near the top of good. Would I say it's better than Finding Dory? These two are like neck and neck right here. Finding Finding Dory and Inside Out. I'm pretty sure they came out around the same time. Finding Dory probably a couple years later. But Inside Out was just such a cool movie. It was my favorite Pixar movie when it came out. Uh, man, people have, what hasn't been said about Inside Out? It's a smart movie. It's iconic. It has so many memes attached to it. I thought the emotions were pretty cool, and the main character was pretty good. And one of the more mature Pixar movies too, which is why I enjoyed it. So yeah, it's probably in the top of good for now. Not better than Coco, but definitely a slight bit better than the three behind it. Monsters University, another underrated Pixar film in my opinion. I'm gonna put it right there. That's the perfect spot for it. Not better than Soul, but slightly better than Onward, so I'll put it right there. Brave, I love the Scottish theme, the Scottish setting. The main character I never sat with. Uh, the mom bear was kind of cool, even though compared to most Pixar, themes or plot twists or uh, you know, messaging, it's not the strongest. But I think I'll probably put it right there for now. I think it's better than Finding Nemo. I do like Brave. I don't know if it's better than Toy Story 4, but I do have nostalgia for Brave. It came out during when I was in elementary school, and it was pretty popular for a significant amount of time. So now it's time to get, I think, a little on the hot take side. But Toy Story 3 is arguably my favorite Pixar movie, and first let me just explain. Toy Story 3, I have the most nostalgia for, probably out of any Pixar movie, and that is a very relevant factor when talking about cartoon movies, obviously. Toy Story 3, I love the setting in the daycare. Uh, I love the idea of Andy moving on to college. I thought that was cool. I thought the themes were so cool. Uh, of like letting go and moving on in life. That stuff was really cool. Lotso as a villain. Lotso is my favorite villain in Pixar. And I think the whole entire third act of Toy Story 3 is just wicked entertaining. I remember I used to be scared of this movie because of the phone and the toy baby thing, but Toy Story 3 just does so many things well. I think it builds on it takes it's far more sentimentally valuable than I think than Toy Story 1, and has the same like sequencing and pacing and action as Toy Story 2, which I love. Up is also up there with Toy Story 3. I don't think many people disagree with that. I think Up is awesome. I have plenty of nostalgia for Up. Came out at around the same time as Toy Story 3, and maybe this was just like the peak era of Pixar, just the late 2000s, early 2010s. Now, here's a hot take, but I never enjoyed Wall-E. I don't like a robot as a main character. I was never into that. Um, I thought it was kind of boring. I like the Fallout style music is pretty cool. I like the old music and how it shows what humanity can come to in the future. But I've recently rewatched this in film class at school, and I was just it didn't sit with me too well. I thought it was slow. The two robots. I know people are get great emotional attachment to the robots, but I was never really a big fan. Now, with that said, Wall-E is I think it's uniquely themed. I like how it takes place in the future, and I love how it makes me think about Fallout, like I said. So I think I'll put it in the middle. It'll be a disrespect to say Brave is better, but it's I'm honestly gonna say it's probably within this range right here. Right around Toy Story 4 and The Incredibles. I'll put it past Toy Story 4 for now because I'll probably put it past The Incredibles too, just because I have far more nostalgia for Wally. But when it comes to, memorability in terms of story, I'm not too inclined with Wally personally. Ratatouille is in terms of Pixar, I just rewatched this last night. I think Ratatouille is probably at the top. It's at the top of good or it's nearly perfect. Ratatouille's awesome. I love Linguini as a character. I like how it's suspenseful in a sense. I mean, how like the rat can be revealed, how Remy can be revealed at any moment, and just really not until the end. Anton Ego as a villain I thought was pretty good, or a villain if you want to call him that. The former lead chef was more the villain, but yeah, I think Ratatouille is if I'm gonna move Ratatouille and Nearly Perfect, I think Ratatouille has a pretty strong placement right there, Nearly Perfect. Uh, Before my rewatch, I thought Ratatouille was probably in this mid-good range, but now that I rewatched it and how well it has aged for being a 2007 Pixar release, I think it has a good spot and Nearly Perfect, and it just proves, how dominant Pixar was around that time. Monsters Inc. I'm gonna put it in Masterpiece personally. Monsters Inc. I think has the coolest plot and the coolest idea or concept of any Pixar movie. The beginning of Monsters Inc. was so funny. It was so cool meeting the characters. Sully and Mike Wazowski are like, you're not gonna get more iconic than that in Pixar, besides maybe the Toy Story characters. But the ending, how things just twist and turn, and Randall as a villain was pretty good, and all the things that could have gone wrong in Monsters Inc. It was just such a great story. Monsters Inc. I could definitely see it being the best Pixar movie. I think it's yeah, Monsters Inc. might be better than Up. Might be better than Toy Story 3. I can see that since it's on this tier. I can see it being 1, 2, or 3, but I'm gonna say Monsters Inc. is probably a strong placement of top 3 for now. Toy Story 2 was very, very good. Uh, you know, uh, the guy that takes the toys was a good, I guess you can call him a villain. Uh, or he's a thief, so he kind of is the villain in the movie. Or the airport scene, how climactic it is, how suspenseful it is. I think Toy Story 2 does have one of the better third acts. I do think Toy Story 2 builds upon Toy Story 3 in a lot of aspects. So I'm going to put Toy Story 2 at probably nearly perfect right now, and then I'm going to put Toy Story right around where uh, I'll say it's yeah, right around this tier right here, right in the middle of good. Um, I did recently rewatch Toy Story 2, Toy Story as well in film class, and yeah, Toy Story is a great film, but my argument is why would I watch Toy Story if Toy Story 2 does better and Toy Story 3 does better? Toy Story, obviously you can make the influence argument. It was the first. It aged better. It aged somewhat well. The comedy is amazing, and it was like the first of like what CGI based films or all CGI animated movies. So yeah, it was pretty good. But I think when pertaining to Pixar, it has a good solid placement in that top 10, but it's just not. I don't think it's in that top 3 or top 5 where a lot of people have it locked. A Bug's Life. I'm gonna say it's not bad. I think it's pretty average. I think the setting is really cool. I think the underground scenes are really cool. Um, but for now, I'm gonna put it in pretty average just because it's one of the more passable and more boring Pixar movies. Like again, that argument of why watch A Bug's Life when you have all these other great Pixar movies. Lightyear, I'm gonna put in the bottom of pass. Lightyear was just the villain, how it was Buzz Lightyear was just kind of stupid. Um, they didn't really do anything cool with Buzz Lightyear's character. I didn't care for the Hawthorne characters, and the grandma, Joe Pesci looking grandma. I thought she was a cool character, but Socks was a good character, but nothing else in this movie really sat with me too much. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in pass, and it may over time drop down to lol the fuck. Turning Red, I just watched this the other night. Turning Red is an awesome movie. I do think it's as a movie how well made it is, it's probably better than Monsters University. But and I do think it's a little bit better than Onward. But Turning Red was just such a cool concept movie. It's a more mature Pixar movie, how it like involves puberty concept. The characters are cool. They were so well done. You know, it was comical. You know, the heritage was cool in the movie. The ending was awesome. How it was like a Godzilla type fight scene. And yeah, Turning Red was just a very, very entertaining movie. It's pretty new. It was like what two or like not even like 2 years ago. But yeah, I do like Turning Red. It's awesome. And yeah, I just need more time for it to marinate because it could climb up this list. Who knows? So yeah, this is pretty much these tiers. Would I rate out? Would I make the tiers like this? I probably would. Toy Story 3 is one, up to Monsters Inc. 3, and so on and so forth. This is probably how I would tier them. I'm gonna say Cars is probably better than Incredibles 2. And yeah, what else would I say here? Yeah, that's pretty good. This is practically my ranking for the Pixar films. I know I probably shook a lot of people, but you know, it's a Pixar tier list. All these movies are really good up till like, The Good Dinosaur. All these movies are just incredible movies. And yeah, it's hard to make a tier list of something that's just all pretty damn good. So yeah, leave your opinions in the comments section. Let me know what you would change. Let me know if you would put like Lightyear up higher, or you would put Cars up higher, or just let me know some hot takes about Pixar. Thank you for watching. I enjoyed making this a shit ton. It was fun, and I'll be back with more tier lists in the future. I'll be back with more comprehensive projects in the near future. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and